Bolpur is being seen very closely, the seat that you're fighting here in this district, because of many reasons. There is history to this seat, a long history of Vishwa Bharati University and plus also the TMC history on this seat. This has been seen as a TMC stronghold for very long, and Mr. Mondal has been here, and there's a kind of image here. How do you see this fight in Bolpur evolving?
You see, the Bolpur is known as the seat of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, and his entire sadhana, all that he did in terms of contributing to our national life was from here. And at one end of this constituency, in a sense one can say, is Shantiniketan and the legacy of Gurudev. And at the other end of this constituency is poet Jaydev. They say this is where he was born, the creator of Gita Govindam. So it's very significant in that sense. But at the same time, it's also a cause of deep concern that over the years, Birbhum and this entire region has been associated with political violence, with the culture of political violence, with the culture of political vendetta, and a mindset which is essentially anti-democratic, which has no place in a constitutional India. And that mindset is represented by the local leadership of Birbhum, of the TMC leadership of Birbhum. You took the name of one Mr. Mondal, who's the president here of the TMC, the district president. And this has been the unfortunate part in the last 1 decade. And so therefore I look at it in this way. I look at it in this way, that people, and I can clearly understand, people are indicating, they are expressing themselves. Many are unable to express themselves. But I see that there's a clear disgust with this kind of nefarious culture amongst people. There's a clear disgust amongst people. They want to get out of this entire atmosphere of fear, of oppression, of a mindset which doesn't tolerate any kind of political opposition, which doesn't tolerate any kind of legitimate political activity, which is in opposition to its own. This is the mindset that the TMC has represented, essentially a fascist mindset. And I think people, I'm very certain, because I myself felt it in the last 20 days, people want to get rid of this. They've already rejected this mindset. They want to now get rid of this comprehensively.
And when we go in your constituency this time, went to a few areas, there is also this issue that you're seen as like a very urban, suave face, a clean face, who has come here to. But also this thing is that no, is Mr. Anirban an outsider, because he is not been here. So how do you balance these things out? Being seen as an outsider, but also being seen as a clean face who's trying to change this area and give a new meaning to this area.
No, I don't know how you are still hearing this, because I don't hear this anymore. This narrative did not stand against me even 24 hours, and it was created by the TMC.
Yeah.
And you must remember that there is nothing new in my being suave and educated and erudite, because Somnath Chatterjee represented Bolpur for 7 terms as Member of Parliament.
Yes.
And he was more erudite, more educated, more suave than I am.
Yes.
So therefore I think these are all political points which have no basis. I mean, it doesn't exist at all. It's like, the TMC 8 months back would say, who's your 8 or 9 months back would say, who's your CM face? Now they've stopped saying that because they have themselves understood that the people of West Bengal have directly connected to Prime Minister Modi. They want that kind of governance here. Modi appeals to them. Modi connects with them. Modi says and does that which they themselves wish to, they want, they aspire for. So therefore, very silently, they don't ask this question anymore, who is your CM face?
Right.
So similarly with this, I think It's very clear.
What I meant to also ask that, this contrast of your image to generally the image that has been created in the constituency that, this is a constituency marred by violence, political violence. But here BJP is trying to give you a very clean face, a person who's clean, who doesn't have any baggage from this area. So do you think that contrast is also working for you on the ground? People see you as a refreshing change from what has
No, you
happened
see,
here?
people in Bolpur were used to someone like Somnath Chatterjee.
Yeah.
Even among some of the first leaders to be elected from Bolpur was, for example, Anil Chando, who was Gurudev's own secretary, and then later on he himself was a very accomplished person in that sense, and he got elected from Bolpur, went on to become Minister of State for External Affairs in one of the Congress governments in the 60s. So it has been the tradition in Bolpur to have such personalities. But there was a break in the last 10 years. You have a sitting MLA here who's absolutely got no personality or character of his own. He's dominated by this Mr. Mondol, who himself is absolutely, he represents all that is antithetical to Tagore's legacy, all that is antithetical to the collective mindset of the people of Bolpur. And therefore I think in me they clearly see again a link with a bygone era when there were very eminent people, erudite people who represented Bolpur. Because I think that is how it should be. It should be, Bolpur should have a certain degree and level of representation, because after all it's the seat of Tagore. It has its own cultural legacy, it has its own spiritual legacy, and at one time in the peak when Tagore established when Gurudev established his ashram here, Shantiniketan, Vishwabharati, Bolpur attracted the best minds from across the world, not only in India. I mean, from across the world. The who's who, some of the most legendary names in Indology, in history, in linguistics, in culture, across the world came and converged here in Bolpur. So, therefore I say it's very unfortunate that the TMC has introduced such a negative atmosphere, which has kind of entrapped Bolpur's essential potential to grow as a city, as an identity in the coming years.
But if you see the history also, like 2016 election, BJP didn't fare well at all here. 85%, 83% of the votes were cornered by the top two candidates, left and TMC. So it also looks like a very big challenge if BJP is able to make a mark in this district and your seat. Don't you think it's a big challenge to reverse that whole situation?
No, 2016 is now gone. It's a long way back.
Yeah.
After 2016, there was 2019. And 2019, we saw what happened during the elections. The amount of votes that BJP polled. And in 2019 elections, we did much better than what we did in 2016 in Bolpur.
Yes.
And the margin was very less. So I'm absolutely sure that after 2019, the kind of atmosphere that is built up in West Bengal, the kind of pent-up anger that people have against being exploited and against being neglected, and the kind of positive support that they have expressed for our agenda, for Prime PM Modi's governance agenda, I'm sure, very confident that things are going to be different this time.
One last question, sir. What happened in Sitalkuchi? Now, your seats which are now going to polls, there seems to, because your seat also has a considerable Muslim population. So, TMC has tried to, drum up this issue in a big way. The CM has gone there, met the families. 4 people killed were Muslim, 1 person killed was a Rajvanshi. So, do you think this issue of Sitalkuchi killings will have an impact in the coming phases, or is this a lifeline for TMC in a way?
No, you see, there are about 27% of Muslims in my constituency, and most of them realize that they have been taken for a ride by the TMC government. For 10 years, they have been used as a vote bank. They have been promised things, and they have not been delivered. I have seen many of our workers who are Muslims. They have been targeted because they are BJP workers. They have not received a house. They have been targeted. They have been fleeced. and you can see the contrast is so stark that the house next door is a concrete one because the person concerned is a TMC guy, is a TMC worker. And the house next door is a thatched roof, has a thatched roof, is a mud hut. And he's not got it because he's a BJP worker, even though he belongs to a minority community. So I think as far as my constituency is concerned, Muslims have clearly realized this. And they are, I see a certain amount of determined, a kind of clarity in them that they want to opt for that system, that party which is going to deliver on promises of development and governance. And PM Modi in any case says that development for all, appeasement to none. That is something extremely relevant for West Bengal because it has just been the opposite of that which has happened in West Bengal. And the other, you see, the Sheetal Kuchi incident is a direct fallout, and I think we should not be diverted by the theatrics of the Chief Minister of West Bengal. But we should rather look at it this way, that it's an extreme cause for concern that an elected Chief Minister has spoken the language of terrorist organizations that used to operate once upon a time in Kashmir, supported by Pakistan. And that is to attack central forces. She has provoked people into attacking them, into trying to surround them, snatch away their weapons. I think this kind of language used to be used by terrorist organizations at one point of time. But an elected Chief Minister who's taken oath on the Constitution of India has done this. And the Sheetal Kuchi incident is a direct fallout of that. If you realize, you'll see, if you look at it closely, it's not ordinary people who responded to a call. It was a party-supported goons who actually reacted, who carried out her orders of attacking central forces. No ordinary people in West Bengal today would do that because they want to be relieved. They want relief from this kind of a grip, visceral-like grip that this TMC has been subjecting them to. So, but again, I would like to say that I think the Election Commission of India ought to have been even more uncompromising. When you see, and she's the only Chief Minister who, in her election campaign, from an open stage, calls for violence against uniformed forces of the Union. And that is something which is very, which should give rise to deep concern. And it is for that reason that TMC has to be sent into political exile. Because its continuance in governance is going to be extremely detrimental, not only to West Bengal, but to our entire federal structure. And I think she has completely lost it. Being a chief minister, being a central minister, cabinet minister, being a 7-time member of parliament, she's completely lost it. She has completely exposed herself that she doesn't believe essentially in the federal structure and constitution of India. And so therefore Sheetal Kuchi incident has to be seen in that aspect.
You think a 24-hour ban on her was not enough?
No, it was not enough. Certainly not enough. Absolutely not. Because you see, she was back with the same theatrics. She has no repentance. And in order to hang on to a power over which she is losing grip, she can go to any extent. That is what is being proved. And I've said this earlier also, she's exactly behaving in the manner in which, I reiterate, terrorist organizations supported by Pakistan would at one point of time behave in J&K. And so therefore, the continuance of TMC in power in West Bengal will clearly jeopardize West Bengal's future.
This question must be asked to you, I'm asking every senior leader of the party when they're contesting from it. Who is your CM face? Are you also in the race to become the CM? BJP is already saying it's winning 200 seats, which Amit Shah is saying. Do you think a CM face race is also on in the BJP among the faces?
No. I'm not in any race. There are 294 candidates. Out of that, we'll get 170, 180. I believe we'll get 200. I am very clear on that. some say 170, 180. I'm absolutely certain that we are getting 200 plus. 200 plus MLAs, so many of them with a lot of political experience, with a lot of administrative experience. So I'm sure.
Right. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.